Who is in your Premier League 2020/21 team of the season? That's why I'm asking Ollie today, who is a Liverpool fan. Ollie, how are you?
Very well, Jake. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad.
Top lad.
Not too bad.
Good
Good.
lad.
So, we will just before we get into your team of the season, I'd like to thank our sponsors for this series. It's the Blowing Bubbles magazine. You can check the link in the description down below, and if you use the discount code Jake Cox at checkout, there it is on screen. When you buy a yearly subscription of 11 magazines, you can get a fiver off using that. So you can get £5 off using the discount code Jake Cox at checkout for the Blowing Bubbles magazine. Thank you very much to them, and without further ado, we will get started then. So, Liverpool fans, sum up Liverpool's season for us. Difficult.
Yeah, inconsistent is the word to me. Started off, really brightly. We were, at top of the league. I think just before Christmas or somewhere around then.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened. I think it was just probably a drop in confidence. We lost a couple of games, and I think that momentum, probably carried on. And it looked like in the end it was going to be disappointing. We were disappointed. We were really hoping to do, to get that double on the thing and catch up with United on their 20 league titles, but we didn't do it in the end. Unfortunately, it's one of those things. Everybody knows it's a tight league. It's not easy. But we came back strong in the end. We had some good signs. Thiago's looking good. We started playing some good football. The last few games, linking up was good. So we go on to next season and see if we can have another shot at the league.
Yeah, and to be honest, there's been a pretty good rebuild in the last few months when you put it all into context. I mean, a couple of months ago, you were down there in 8th and 9th and just snuck in the back door at Champions League. And not only that, to get that third position as well. Quite exceptional. Thiago, I mean, I think you brought in a player as well today to sign. But hopefully for you, it's on the up. That little dip for half a season, and hopefully for you, back on the up and trying to get near Man City again next season, which is going to be difficult.
Yeah, of course. Good question. Yeah, I mean Thiago. I think he's a great player. I think he's one of the best midfielders in the world, and you could see that he started linking in, he started gelling in with the team towards the end of the season. So he's going to be bright. The start of next season. So yeah, it was looking bright. I think that's one of the reasons I'll probably mention in a minute. I put Nat Phillips in because I haven't watched a great deal of football this season, but Nat Phillips is a reserve team player. He's come in and what he did, he was pretty damn solid. So, I'll explain to you later why I put him in there. He's done really well, I think.
Yeah, we will get on to all of your players now, but we'll start off in goal then with Ederson. You've gone for.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I can't really see there was like an outstanding goalkeeper this season to say, he was amazing. I mean, last year, Alisson of Liverpool was brilliant. This season, he's been a bit inconsistent. I think he's, a lot of his father didn't really help. He had a bit of a few blunders. I know another season, I know De Gea of United's been, he's been amazing as well, but there hasn't been a really outstanding one. But from what I've seen, of City, I think Ederson's done pretty well. They've had a damn good defensive record, and I've seen him do some, as good a saves as anybody has this season. So I think he's a fair shout to put him in as goalkeeper.
Yeah, fair shout. The majority of goalkeeper slots are going to either Ederson or Emi Martinez from Aston Villa so far. Both very valid shouts and have fantastic seasons. We'll move out to your right back then, and you have gone with Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
I did, yeah. Again, I can probably see why there'd be, a few arguments to this. I know a lot of people would say Reece James of Chelsea probably did really well. And yes, he has. He's done really well. Again, I haven't seen any outstanding performances from a right back, but I think overall, I think United's defence is like really improved a lot. They didn't leak too many goals in, and I think the bit I did watch of him, he's pretty good. He's got a lot of speed. He gets up and down. He's had quite a few assists. So I think his overall link-up play has been pretty good. So I just thought I'd, give him a shout. He's done quite well.
Yeah. I think next season's a massive season for him. He's had a really good season this season, and it's going to be a test whether he can go up to the next level next season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's quite good for English football as well, because he's English, isn't he, Bissaka? Is he English?
Yeah.
No, yeah, he is. Yeah, so yeah, I think he's got a big season for Man United next season. They look like they're going to push on. They possibly challenge for the league, like Liverpool and Chelsea and some of the other big names. I think he's only going to improve. So it's going to be a really big season. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. We will move on into your centre backs there. And your first one you mentioned just a minute ago, Nat Phillips.
Yeah. Really, really impressed with Nat Phillips. I think any Liverpool fan will tell you the same. He was only a reserve team player until they had the injuries with Van Dijk and Matip, who's always injured. So it was a bit of a gamble, bringing him in to the first team, especially when we signed Ben Davies and others. And I tell you what, he's been an absolute solid rock for Liverpool. His headers, really, really, really good defender, and he's got a big season with us next season, I think, because it looks like Kabak's off the low knee.
Right.
So it looks like he's planning to play Phillips with Van Dijk quite often. And I think they've got the new one coming as well, haven't they? Canate. But I think Phillips is going to be in the first team. So yeah, really, really, really impressive, Nat Phillips. He deserves a shout.
Yeah,
definitely.
And these players, especially him, Reece Williams as well at the back, they weren't really gonna. To be honest, let's say it, they weren't gonna get a sniff in if Liverpool didn't have the injuries that they had. If Gomez, Van Dijk, Matip, these players didn't get injured, they were probably quite far down the pecking order. And he's really stepped up, and Liverpool have goddamn needed him.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Jay. Very good job. That's the brilliance That's the brilliant management of Klopp. Again, I think rather than going out and spending big money on a big name defender, he's basically seen a reserve player who's got potential, and he's given him a chance. And again, that's just really, really good management. Fair play to Klopp and Nat Phillips for taking it. So it's really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I completely agree. From one really good young centre back to another, then from Leeds, Luke Ayling is your second centre back.
Yeah, really impressed with Luke. I mean, there hasn't been, apart from Nat Phillips doing what he did coming up from the reserve, I haven't seen an outstanding centre back performance. He would say, well, wow, what a performance like Van Dijk did last season, or Company did the season before for City. But what I've seen of Luke Ayling and Leeds have had a really good season. They came up from the Championship.
Yeah.
I remember Luke Ayling years ago playing for Yeovil in like League 2 or something like that, League 1, League 2, something like that. He stepped up to the Premier League and he looked really, really good. And he's done amazingly well. He's English too. So yeah, I think he definitely deserves a shout to be in there. He's done well. Fair play to the lad.
Yeah, and the whole of Leeds as well have done really, really well this season. Let's hope they don't get second season syndrome, because I think lots of people have really, really liked their way of football, what Bielsa's done there. They've really, really liked the way they play, and Luke Ayling's definitely been a likeable character and has stood out this season. But we'll move out to finish off your back four then to the left-hand side with Luke Shaw.
Yeah, again, Luke Shaw, I've been really impressed with. Again, as I explained with Wan-Bissaka, I think the whole United defence has improved a lot this season.
Yeah.
I think Maguire improved quite a bit as well at times, as that happened before he got injured. But Luke Shaw is probably the most improved Man United player, I think, this season, from what I've seen. I didn't watch, for the few games I watched, he's putting some good balls. He can tackle. I just think he's had a good season, and he's probably the most improved player of the Premier League season as well. Definitely, he's getting better.
Lots of people are putting them in their side because last season he was put down for being overweight, not quite there, but he's really proven people wrong this season, and I like it. And many people are putting him in his in their team.
Yeah. That's exactly the reason why I put him in, Jake, because he's improved, the most improved player since last season for sure. He's done really well. Yeah.
That is a decent back four with some new names that we haven't seen on these team of the season so far. I mean, the only name that's in pretty much everyone is Ruben Diaz, but I mean, Nat Phillips and Luke Ayling, there's some really, really decent players in there, that's for sure. But we'll move on into the midfield then, and we will start in the centre of the park with the first of your two central midfielders, with Jack Grealish.
Yeah, Jack Grealish has looked consistent. I can see why there's other midfielders people would go for, but again, I haven't watched a great deal of football. And a lot of the Man City players have done really well, but I think generally the whole team of Man City have worked really well. So they've had lots of, good team play rather than individual play. But I think Grealish has done really well. He works hard. He's solid. He links up well, and Aston Villa have done really well as a team. I think he's been the main part of that, really. I'd like to see him play for England more. He gets up and top, links up well, the front three, 2 or 3. So yeah, I'm pleased with Grealish. He definitely do. I think he'd do well in a big team. He'd do well in the top sort of top 4 or 5 sides. Yeah, so well done to him.
Definitely a great player. The reason people don't particularly like him is because of his diving. He likes to dive, and that's why people just kind of try and push him to the side. But he's got raw talent.
There's quite a lot of players which do that, though. Unfortunately, isn't there in these football these days? But it goes on.
Yeah. As I said, speaking of raw talent, I mean, this is the definition of talent. Your next central midfielder, De Bruyne.
Yeah, that's one Man City player I did have to put in because, Kevin De Bruyne on his day is probably one of, if the best attacking midfielder in the world. I mean, he's been absolutely brilliant. He must be a dream for any striker to play with. I mean, he would just feed them balls from anywhere on the pitch. He's unbelievable. I'd certainly love to see him in a Liverpool shirt. I'm sure any team would like to have him in this team. But I mean, not for just what he's done this season, but for a consistent season after season after season. He definitely deserves a shout in my top team of the year midfield.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Just his presence, his passing, world class assist. He hasn't reached the heights of probably what he did last season, but in a game he's going to do one fantastic pass. Every 2 games he's going to put in a world class assist, a world class ball over the top. He's just fantastic.
That's right. Yeah, I 100% agree with what you said, Jack. That's what he's done, Jake. Yeah.
We will move out to the flanks then, out wide then, and we'll start on the right hand side with Bruno Pelandez himself.
Bruno Pelandez, Fernandes again, a top midfield player. I do highly rate Fernandes. He's quite similar to Thiago and De Bruyne. He's a very good player. He's got very good work rate. He's very good around the box. It's up and down. I know he scores a lot of penalties. No, he's a class player. From what I do rate Fernandes. I think he's one of he's world class, and thoroughly deserved his team of the year pick for me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And him and Cavani have had some, and Greenwood in there as well. Whoever's in there, Rashford, they've had some fantastic link-up play in the second half of this season.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he has for sure. He's a very, 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 very good player, Fernandes. I do rate him highly.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we will move out onto the left-hand side then, with Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, Salah. I know there's lots of strikers' choices, but Salah for me this season, he's just shown glimpses why he's one of the best strikers in the world. He's in the top 3 or 4, players in the world at times. He's not far behind Messi and Ronaldo on his day, because he's been really quiet, and then all of a sudden he'll just come up with something, bang, out of nothing, and he'll win the game for Liverpool, and it's just something brilliant. His finishing is a dream to watch.
Top notch.
So I mean, just for some of that, just for some of those magic moments, to get Liverpool, so the goals they've needed. Definitely had to put Salah in there. Yeah, he's magic.
Yeah. Fantastic player. Fantastic player. Well, we will move on to your strike force, as I'm calling them, in these two-winner seasons there. And the first one, which pretty much every single person is picking, all the way over from the Spuds. He's not going to be there for much longer, but it's Harry Kane.
Yeah, hello, Harry Kane, brilliant player. I love Harry Kane. Very good player. Yeah, deserves his spot in my team this season. No, he's great. He's like a very old-fashioned striker to me. I've seen he likes to hang on the halfway line, and then pushes forward. But he's just such a great finisher. He's won Golden Boot of the Year, so you can obviously see why most people are probably picking him. He's just great. Yeah, fair play to him wherever he goes next season. I mean, he'd easily get into any top team. So, which I think he deserves, in all fairness. I think he's been pretty loyal to Tottenham, as loyal as he can be. He wants to win trophies. You can see that he's not after money or anything like that. He's top professional. And yeah, he's a player I'd like to see in a Liverpool shirt myself, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
I think it's the massive possibility that Man City are going to be the only side that's going to be able to pluck out the cash for him in the summer.
Yeah, fair play to him. If he goes to City, that's I'm pleased for him. He deserves a shot at a big club. I'd like to see him pick up a couple of major trophies. He deserves it fully. Great player. So yeah, let's just see what future brings for him. Good for England as well, playing with top world class players.
Yeah. That Man City side would be scary then, because Ruben Diaz this season has almost added that final piece of the puzzle.
Yeah,
that bit of the puzzle from Aguero has been taken back out, and Harry Kane would almost be adding another two pieces to it. That would be scary, that Man City side, and almost unbeatable for the title.
Yeah, they're looking. I'm not sure if Aguero is going to be there next season though. Is this Harry Kane to replace Aguero? No, he's not. He's going to stay. Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting to see what happens. But yeah, City just go from strength to strength, don't they? They've just got so much money, so much power. But still, I think it will be really interesting. I think Liverpool will strengthen. I think United will strengthen. Chelsea. It's just going to be so interesting next season to see what happens. But yeah,
it's going to be a memorable season. Not only fans, hopefully full capacity fans getting back in there, but these squads are going to go from strength to strength, that's for sure. And it's going to be a very intriguing season next season. But to round off then, your final player, your final striker, Patrick Bamford.
Yeah, I think most people would probably agree with Patrick Bamford. Again, like you said earlier, Jake, the style of football Leeds have done this season to where they finished in the league, from where they came up from. He's been a dream, hasn't he? Really, really good young player. Knows where the net is. Really looking forward to seeing him play next season, and it's just great news for England as well to have someone like that come through. Be interesting to see if any next season, so if any big clubs try to sign him. Even though I feel sorry for Leeds in that department, but it will happen eventually if he keeps improving. But it'll be interesting to see which ones look at him next season. Long may it continue. Yeah,
I completely agree. Fantastic player, and another player, as we've said, from Leeds that has stepped up this season to the Premier League. But who is going to manage this side? Who has been your manager of the season?
My manager of the season has got to be David Moyes. I think what he's done for West Ham, from where they came from, you'll like that one, didn't you? From what he did this season, from where they came from the season before, was absolutely brilliant, and he's done that with little money. Some big names who he signed, not world class names, and I think if West Ham can get a pot of money and he could bring in hopefully a few good signings. I'm not exactly sure where they need to strengthen. You probably know more than me because you're a West Ham fan, but I think he can do really, really well. I think he could push into fourth or fifth. Well, fourth might be a bit push. I don't really know, but you never know. Could fourth, fifth.
A very intriguing. It's going to be a very intriguing transfer window to see where we're going to go, because we're now in Europa League. We're going to be playing Thursday, Sunday, which takes a lot out of teams, and we've got a very we have got a very thin squad depth at the moment, so we need reinforcements, and they need to come in. Yeah. So, you
That's
know, we'll
right.
just have to wait and see on that one. But that's your team. We will just review it, and then we will give our final thoughts. This team, another very, very decent team. Ederson in goal. Back four of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Nat Phillips, Luke Ayling, and Luke Shaw. 2 Lukes there. Jack Grealish and Kevin De Bruyne in the middle of the park as central midfielders. Bruno Pelandez on the right, Mo Salah on the left, and then the 2 strikers of Harry Kane and Patrick Bamford. Not a bad side, that, Ollie.
No, I think it's pretty good, isn't it? Really, I'd be happy with that. David Moyes behind the wheel as well. He's done great.
Yeah, he has.
I'm sure he'd get the best out of those players for sure.
He would. Oh yeah, he would. Any final thoughts, Ollie?
No, that's it, Jake. Thank you for having me on. I hope my team's impressed you, and enjoy the rest of people's teams and their opinions. And yeah, just enjoy it. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much, Ollie. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you to everybody that comes on, and I hope you are enjoying all of these videos. From me, come on you eyes. Thank you very much to Ollie for coming on, and we'll see you very, very